So we are streaming and we are recording now.
Guess they don't want to pay for garbage.
Okay, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the City of Kingston Street Commission meeting for November. We are rescheduled from our normal second Tuesday meeting due to the Election Day holiday, so I hope everybody goes out and gets their votes in. There are extra agendas on the table. I'm just going to go around and introduce members of the commission. I'll start with myself. I'm Suzanne Cahill, and I'm Director for the City of Kingston.
Kyla Dita, the Assistant Planner.
Anita Collins, I'm the representative of the Conservation Advisory Council.
Elizabeth Collins, representative for the Memorial Tree Fund on the Tree Commission.
Vince Orchard, just a member of the Tree Commission.
Amanda O'Neill, member of the Tree Commission.
Evan Tang, a member of the Tree Commission.
Okay, great. So everyone has an agenda. We did not have a quorum at the October 11th meeting. We do today. So I do want to go through those applications first. We had the application from 221 West Chestnut Street. That was a pruning request. I'm just gonna seek out the folder here. I grabbed everything in a quick rush. Don't know that these individuals will be here tonight. Everybody was re-notified.
No, we don't.
Hello. So for 221 West Chestnut Street, that was just a pruning request. Everybody should have received the applications online. You used to pull them up on the screen again, if you could, to review. 221. Yeah. Photos. Yeah, West Chestnut.
These were all from the last, because I think I looked at them.
You know, it's just been a few weeks.
This was one where Central Hudson has also done a fairly decent butcher job too, but you can't tell from this, but it's really just to trim it and prune it back.
Is
They're
it
trying
touching the
to
house?
save the tree to the best of their ability. And there's, you can see, there are a lot of, there's dead wood in the tree itself, the canopy.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Yeah, but
Then you
they
really-
still want to try and save it, so they're cutting out the dead wood. They do have a Limber Tree Services is on board.
And I remember when we had those other trees at the Rupco project, and they trimmed down like 10 to 20 feet, and they seem to look great.
Yeah.
So I think this makes perfect sense, and they can
Right,
probably
It looks
trim it
fine
down
on
and
the
make it look a
piece.
little better.
George, if you want to come up and sit at the table, there's a chair.
So I don't know, I would
So
recommend
do you
that
want to
we,
make a motion?
a motion
Okay, yeah.
that we recommend that they, that they go along with their pruning request and make sure that they have appropriate permits and so.
So the standard would be the permit from DPW, careful, taking precautions on both sidewalk and street, and then removal of debris. Is there a second to that one? Evan? Okay, Evan, second. So I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Okay, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor, just raise your hand. Aye. Unanimous. Okay, good. Okay. Okay. And we do have. Mr. Beal, correct? Okay, all right. You were here last month when we did not have a quorum. And you discussed your concerns. I don't know, were you able to reach out to the Department of Public Works at all after the meeting last month? You called them and didn't have any luck getting them over there? Okay. All right. I know that we had talked, Mr. Beal was here, he was upset with the opinion of Department of Public Works. I advised him to reach out to DPW and see if he could get them. We did invite the Public Works official to the meeting this evening. Obviously, they're not in attendance with us tonight. Their opinion has not changed with respect to the tree. I will say, however, that I did have a conversation with the mayor about all of the trees that the DPW is recommending removal of. Talking about the cost. So he has asked, even if the commission approves or agrees with the opinion of DPW, to hold off any enforcement for a short time while they consider looking into providing some funding assistance using other revenue streams that they are trying to find. So I think that's good news. The city's willing to try and offer some assistance. There may be a small stipend that you might have to contribute, but the balance could then be maybe made up by the city in a larger program. And that's what the mayor is exploring right now. Okay. So does that sound something reasonable to you? I mean, that we've done that in the past where the city has put into the budget a line, and it was a cost share type of program where property owner paid, what was it, 250 or something?
That, I don't remember.
It varied. Hey, Kareem.
Hi.
So it varied, but it wasn't just a standard cost share. We're still trying to work out, and that will come out through this program, what that cost might be. But it's something I think more favorable, and not only for you, but for the other individuals as well, that were also identified. Okay? So that's, I think, where we're going to be headed. But I do need a motion from the commission that we agree or disagree with the Department of Public Works. We can put this one back up on the screen if you'd like.
What address is this one?
This would be 155 Bruin. Okay, so that is the tree that would be taken down.
Doesn't look too well.
It looks like there's a lot on the base to try to.
That's the problem, they tried to.
It doesn't look like there's much to prune it down to. Is there a front angle picture or is that it?
That is the only angle. The other
Oh,
picture.
then there's a close-up.
The picture shows.
Is it also
previous recording, and there's one of just the base. Tree.
So I would need a motion from a commission member on, whether you concur or not concur with DPW's evaluation, and then we will take it from there.
Is it also disease?
I can't tell from the photographs that DPW, they did not indicate it. I think their opinion, we find the email, was, the attached photos are of a tree in front of the residence at 155 Bruin. It appears that there was an attempt at trimming this tree in the not so distant past, but at this point, the tree should be removed. The tree has certainly outgrown its available space, leaving the roadway and the sidewalk. It's starting to debark and will more than likely die within the next year due to the excessive trimming already performed on it, presumably to do work on the house, and that was recently been renovated. That was the email from the. Normally, if there is any inclination that there is infestation or some disease, they will point that out and make a note to identify that. So can I have a motion for this from somebody?
Propose a motion to remove the tree based on the DPW's suggestion and based on the city's removal procedure.
It will hold off enforcement until we understand what's going on with the financing. Okay.
And also, Memorial Tree Fund has grant,
I will-
$500 grant,
Right,
two
and I
$500
think
grants.
we talked a little bit about that last month, about the Memorial Tree Fund application, and I'll send you, I can get you that paperwork as well. Okay? So there's a motion on the floor, is there a second? Okay, second by Amanda O'Neill. Is there any further question on the issue? Okay. Call for a vote, all in favor, raise hands. All right, okay, unanimous. Okay, thank you. I'll be sending you out a letter with all the detail, okay? Thank you for coming again.
Thank you.
Appreciate you taking the time. Just for the record, I'm going to show that George Profis from DEC has joined us, as well as Corinne Peel, another commission member. Okay, so let's move back to the top 215 Downs. This is a similar situation.
Yeah, that looks in
That looks
bad
worse.
shape. Yeah, that does look worse in terms of.
So much more.
Okay, yeah, this, I think, is pretty self-explanatory. Bad shape, needs to be removed.
It's a question, DPW tree removal, whether is that tree removal? The property owner removal?
The owner
Okay.
removes, yeah, the tree, the street tree, anything in the public right of way is the responsibility of the property owner. So the Department of Public Works, if they identify trees, will notify our office. And in turn, we notify the property owner and put them on the agenda. So this property owner has been notified a couple of times. I have not heard, normally if I hear a phone call or a letter, I would put it in the file. I have no communication responding back to our notices to them. So again, this one would be another one that we would make a determination, but we will hold enforcement until we can work with the mayor and the city council to identify some possible funding.
I'll make the motion
Okay?
to with all the normal expectations and the delay of enforcement. And hopes that it.
Okay, so there's a motion. Can I have a second? Okay, second by Evan. Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor? Okay, it's unanimous. Okay, so moving to the next one, 138 Downs. Okay, again, this one, actually, Mr. Lopez, the property owner, after receiving the letters, did submit an application for a street removal. He does have a canopy tree service, it's a LLC, who will do the work. So he is agreeing to remove the tree. That being said, I still think, that I would like to give him the opportunity to contact the Memorial Tree Fund and see also, if he does the work, it would be, I don't know if it would be a reimbursement-based program, how the city would do it, but if he does the work, I'd like to offer, the financial assistance to him as well, right? So we did receive an application from Mr. Lopez. Okay, so I would need a motion.
I'll make a motion. to
Okay.
remove the tree and the chopping as well. Based on the.
With standard conditions.
Yep.
Okay. Is there a second to that motion? Okay, Amanda? Any further discussion?
Mr. Lopez himself owns tree service, did he take a tree? down?
Mr. Lopez is the owner, and he submitted an application. The tree service is called Canopy Tree
Oh,
Service. Okay,
Yeah, so-
any further discussion?
And then, Debbie, you said you had two $500.
Yeah, we only have two $500 grants. for
I
this
realize
year.
that, right, and their reimbursement, right? based?
Yes, they have to do the work and then.
Okay.
we
So
will-
this one might
reimburse
be a
them directly.
candidate for you since he's willing to move forward.
Yeah, so if he goes ahead, and
Yeah.
it's, so it's first come, first served.
Right, I know, all right,
There's not
yeah,
Time left for the year.
Then the question,
Well, we have, if we don't get enough, we have pushed it to the next year, or given people time, because I know recently it's been hard to find people, so.
it's hard to find a
One
service to
from
do the
2
work.
years ago, we pushed to last year's,
Right,
that's possible.
and then it'd be, when we, I didn't look at that particular site, but is there space to plant another tree in close
on
proximity?
on that one, there may be, there's on the other side of the walkway coming out of the house, there's what looks like an area. I don't know where utilities run. That would be the question. It's a possibility to replant that.
Okay.
That's something maybe we can send an application.
Yeah, I see some of these are on Down Street, and there are, one side of the street doesn't have utilities on Down Street.
Right,
We just planted quite a few trees on Brew.
Maybe we can add
Yeah.
downs.
so we
to,
can look at, yeah, maybe look
Like
at
both
this.
of them,
hand
if
out.
they're on the side that doesn't have utilities.
Okay,
Some of these were cut for utilities.
right. Okay, so I need to take a vote on this one. All in favor? Okay, unanimous. Okay. Moving on to the next one, that would be 158 Bruin, since we did 155. And, this is pretty much an
That's,
80% debt.
Yeah, and if you trim it, it's top end, you know?
If you trim it, yeah, I mean, you're gonna have
Right on the
one
roadway.
long, yeah, it wouldn't even structurally be safe to
Yeah.
trim it.
Yeah,
I wouldn't consider it, so this is recommended removal as well. So I would need a motion, Amanda,
With the standard conditions and holding on with enforcement, in hopes to replant. There's an area that supports that.
and a second on the motion. Evan, okay. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Okay. Very good. Move to the next on the agenda, 160 Bruin.
My Bruin has a lot of bad.
And unfortunately, they're all right next to each other.
Yeah.
But another area had a lot of trees planted in Broome.
Down by UARC, that was, 7 trees and burned all in a row.
That's good.
So,
That got planted. Oh,
planted,
great.
right.
Good. So,
This
Maybe
one,
work on this one next year.
another one that probably succumbed at one point to some Central Hudson utility pruning. And it's just not, it's struggling to stay alive.
yeah, again, it looks like this half is dead, maybe the other half is alive.
But again, I think
If you pruned it,
structurally,
it
if we cut out
Yeah,
the
it'd be
dead, it's not, it's going to be very unstable.
Yep.
And
It's like there's something wrong with it, you know, I don't know. They're all maple trees.
I wonder if they're all planted at the same time, it's just the age.
Just age.
One of them looked like it was really getting old, the first one. we looked at, but one would be fine.
okay, I would need a motion.
I'm making a motion to remove the tree based on the DPW suggestion. and the
Okay.
road plan.
Second.
Okay. Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Okay, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor? It's unanimous. Okay, so the next one is 173 Tenbrook.
Is any board trees there?
So,
Just turn off.
Okay.
So,
It was a gas leak, we know, we told you that. So,
So 173 Pembroke looks a little bit more alive.
I wonder if you could just trim that way down. I don't know.
It says, it says the tree is dying and dropping large limbs onto the sidewalk and roadway. It should be removed as soon as possible. So this might be one that the DPW was brought to because of the regular tree limbs falling onto the roadway. I don't know. Any additional photos.
And again, if you trimmed all
I
that
think-
stuff, it might be uneven again, it might be unbalanced again.
It's hard to tell.
out too far.
There's some
Yeah, it's
other
hard to know.
photos, I don't know. There's a computer here. Let me see. Really screwing her up.
And maybe some. Oh, there you go. Right there.
Okay.
Here's the arrows on the
Green
side.
share. Okay, let's see, and we're on 173, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
With the arrows on the side. see?
Yeah, you know what, it's covered by,
There you go.
there we go. That's another one,
Oh, yeah.
so you can see from a different angle, it has a lot more dead than you might suspect, and then, let's see, there. There. That's the base of the tree. Those were the 3 photos there. Who is?
I'm not in a position where I feel a lot.
Yeah. Okay, so I don't know, does the committee have any other questions on this one? The recommendation is to remove it.
Good, the roads for that at this point.
Well, that's what I was wondering. Is that what that is at the bottom there?
Yeah, we didn't have much room to grow, so.
Yeah, it looks like it's girdling.
Okay, that's what I was wondering. Thanks for the pointing that out.
And there might be some space to put another one down.
It's
Smaller
possible.
Yeah.
It's got quite, there's quite a, if you look,
Super narrow.
can you go back to the whole tree picture?
That was a maple too. It's way too big.
Maples have such shallow roots, I would think that, you know, that might have an impact on when people walk on the roots or something, I don't know. Maybe they're more.
Structural soil.
Yeah.
But still the spaces to.
So it does look like there might be, obviously some opportunity to,
If they were willing to put it in their yard, they could have a smaller something.
Yeah,
smaller,
yeah. But I mean, the tree lawn there between the sidewalk looks pretty, I mean, it doesn't look like it's a two, I mean, it looks like it's 3 feet.
Just dimensions pretty much, how it works. When you start
You
digging,
got it working?
it comes back to grass and stuff, you find half a foot to a foot further.
Is
The
this-
cement or When I keep finding. Really. It's actually the sidewalks much wider than it looks.
Yeah.
Suggestion?
I'm sorry, there's another conversation up at the door.
Yeah, to suggest, plant another one.
Okay,
If it's.
okay, we can put that in there. We'll give them an application, for a replant, but we'll also we'll add in standard conditions and also, we'll delay enforcement.
So this side of the tree doesn't look like there's any overhead wires. Right?
It looks like it's
No,
something.
the only wires I think would be the house connections
Right.
there, so this might have a good opportunity to replant.
Yep.
Okay, so I do need a motion,
Make a motion. that
Debbie,
we
okay,
Approve removal as per the DPW recommendation.
and a second on that, okay? Green second. Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor? Okay, it's unanimous.
I just have a question. I'm wondering, like, if some of these people say, gee, I agree, it's kind of dangerous, I want to take it down now. Could they still get something through the city? or
We'll have
do
to
they
discuss,
wait? I mean, maybe they're willing to just go ahead and take it down and we can get the.
Yeah, I mean,
Get
retroactive
something later.
reimbursement, I don't know, I mean, I don't, we don't even have the funding stream identified
Right,
yet.
right.
So once we identify that, then we have to set up kind of a procedurally how it's going to be administered. Yeah, that's not. I don't have
But I
the
mean,
answer
the
to that yet.
DPW say these are dangerous, and who knows how long it's gonna take the city to come up with a plan, and if somebody says, yeah, I think I want to take it
Maybe
down
under those
now.
guidelines, they look back, if it wasn't a personal choice, it was a
Yeah,
DPW recommendation.
so 289 Fair Street is up next. This was a new one that I added. This is the Stuyvesant Hotel Uptown. I sent this around the other day to everybody.
Was this the one where they were kind of complaining about? It seemed like they wanted the city to take it down or something?
No, this is the Wayland Prune.
Oh, this was a
This is
okay,
the one
that
they
was
want
the
to,
last
this
one.
is the Stuyvesant
Yeah,
Uptown,
the
and
limbs are-
the tree limbs are basically hitting
Yeah, okay.
the
Yes, yes, yes,
windows
okay.
of the building. So they're really just looking to prune the tree back, the trees back along the street.
Yes,
Makes sense.
that makes perfect sense.
Doesn't look like a tremendous amount.
Okay, so I need a
I
motion.
make a motion
Okay.
to for tree trimming following the standard condition procedure.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor. Can I have a second? Vince? Any further discussion? All in favor? Okay, it's unanimous. Okay, that takes care of that.
Next question, when you do pruning on something like that, does somebody, is it like, it's a direction pruning? So, so basically, getting branches to go upwards and away.
This
from the
is,
building. So I was just wondering, how does one know what they're getting when
When they
the
ask them
company
to
shows
prune.
up? Because they could just lop off some huge branches.
well, this is, they have a tree and landscaping service, E.R. Baisley. And this is Rupco's, project, and, Rupco is very on top of who they hire in terms of professionals. It's not just a fly-by-night person, so, and they will need to get DPW permitting and provide insurance and all of that as well. Okay,
I was just wondering.
yep, that's part of our standard conditions, yeah. Okay, so the next one is 93 Hoffman Street. This is one that has caused some discussion in our office with the between the Department of Public Works and our Corporation Counsel's office. The tree is not in the public right of way, so typically this would not come before this commission. It would be an issue of a civil matter between property owners. And this is a result of a complaint from an adjacent property owner. We responded that it's more of a civil matter. Corporation Counsel ruled based on a portion of the code, and advised them that unless this tree presents a public nuisance, in certain regards, whether it visually obstructs traffic, or impedes pedestrian flow, that kind of thing. That they didn't have any evidence at the time. The complainant was directed to submit any additional further evidence to planning department for the tree commission's review. They submitted these, photographs of branches that had fallen. There's no indication that they fell where they are photographed, unfortunately.
Did you go look at the tree?
Well, if you saw in the other photos, if you look,
It looked like it was pretty much
it's
towards.
all of the, right, so the evidence is not conclusive that these are where the branches are falling. Without DPW actually issuing a formal report, we've been, directed to table the matter for DPW to give their formal opinion to us. However, we can, if we look at the condition of the tree and feel that it's really needs to be addressed, we can, if we feel that it's an issue of public concern, make a statement and go to property owner at this time. And
Oh,
just
so the complaint was the neighbor, not the
our
property.
complaint was the neighbor. I'm in favor of tabling it until DPW weighs in. That's my opinion. I don't believe that it's an immediate public threat.
More
And
threat to
it's
the
just
house.
more,
Yeah, I mean, if I was the property owner, I might take it.
There's no branches on the side of the street.
So it's on that brick house's property. I'd be nervous for my house as a beautiful house.
Yeah, I would be too.
right.
The branch is still removed by the property owner. The large branch.
Yeah.
Okay? All right, so we'll table that one.
Do we send a
Table
letter
for
to-
DPW review.
Do we send a letter to the property owner? Because of tenant?
I will notify the property owner we've looked at it, and that we will be reviewing it at next month's meeting and give them the opportunity to be here. This didn't come up in time to send a notification out, so that will also happen for next month, okay? That takes care of our trees. I will just put out there, if you are approached by anybody about trees, a tree being taken down in Wilbur, okay? We have, been notified that a tree was removed. We are researching the issue right now with our corporation council and our Public Works Department, there was an easement granted by the city, whether or not that tree was in that easement and needed to be removed is at question. So we will be reaching out to that property owner and having them also attend the next meeting. So if your question is saying we are aware of it, we are working on it. Tree's been removed, so it's not like a question of concern, but if it should have come to us, there is a way to find the individual and also require a replanting of a similar tree. Now, it's a bigger, larger tree, you're not gonna be able to replant that tree, but you can put a similar tree.
You
back.
have the address?
I'm sorry?
You have the address of where you was?
The address was, it's low numbers.
You've seen.
Your son samples?
I did not send that, this is not, we haven't really officially made a
Because I know there
determination.
was a couple of issues involved with trees in the past. Was this one of them, that was the name of the gravel itself? This one several months ago.
The address is 2563 Wilbur. So we're looking at that.
Okay.
We also have gotten a notice on Fair Street, 224 Fair Street. The adjacent property owner, Chamber of Commerce, has filed a complaint with regards to that tree and how it is, the roots are lifting and disturbing their driveway and also the sidewalk and street. DPW looked at it, and it's a very healthy tree. So I'm going to be notifying that property owner to come to our next tree commission meeting as well. But I think that that is potentially an issue where we can save the tree. And the driveway is just macadam asphalt pavement. So I think, obviously that could be, maybe the roots could possibly be shaved there. As far as the sidewalk goes, it's bluestone. The bluestone can be lifted, maybe the roots can be shaved and reset. The bluestone in a better material. So we'll have that discussion next month as well. Okay. Kyla, do you want to give an update on the tree planting program and that's the ball?
Maybe what George does too. I don't know if I have that much of an update. The trees were planted the fall, the 35 trees that were scheduled to be planted in the fall. I think you all received copies of the locations and the tree types and everything. So in addition to the spring like 23 trees, and the fall was 35. We are planning on a last spring 2023 planting, early spring. I don't really have any updates other than that, unless anyone has any questions. Installer was Ironwood Industries. They were the low bidder to go go out to bid.
What was the name of it?
Ironwood Industries, they're actually from Long Island.
He was very good to work to, right?
You know, I think, sure, George met him and, you know, I think it was positive.
That's true.
Yeah, and he's going to do the spring installation too.
Also, the variety choices.
He did.
What did they plant this time?
This time was pin oaks and cherries and
We'll see how.
hackberries, pin oaks, and basswood were the majority.
Did you send this? You must have sent.
I
Somehow
kinda
missed
I
it.
think I did, but I can resend it.
I get so many
I know.
emails sometimes, you know.
Talk to George about that. 'Cause it's a lot of-
Yes, we stopped
I tried to
sending
call
versions of
them, but.
And so I, you know, I could have gotten it.
Right.
Spam or who knows.
Okay,
Yeah,
Does this copy work?
so there's still some openings, so we still have, so if you know anybody that, who want applications, they're online, but we're more than happy to provide hard copy applications if you know anybody or you wanna,
Are there any
hand some out.
neighborhoods to go out to before it gets too cold?
do that again. We've done quite a few, but. Yeah.
I want us to think about someplace that we haven't gone and email us and see if we can go in and afternoon. Because it's nice at 3:00 for an hour.
Okay.
Right.
The weather's been pretty reasonable. Do something next week or so.
It's here, here. I don't know if that's.
If anyone has contacted St. Mary's,
I just. I made.
Arbor Day,
And is that what species, do you know what species or is it?
well, I sent out that list, I think, to the others, get the list of potential species that were available. Corinne waited on that.
For the
George
spring?
waited on that for the spring.
Yeah.
There, were a lot of oaks on there. I'll resend that as well, but
So we're gonna miss that.
Because those would need to be reserved now.
yes, and Cody, yes,
So you have a choice.
yep. Talk to him about deadlines for that. So we're prepared for.
Can you forward me the contacts for the Rhinebeck Community Center?
Yep, we just got that, it's Andrew Williams, so it would be A. Williams, WILLIAMS, @kingston-ny.gov. His number is 845-481-7332. And he is the Rhonda Neighborhood Center's after-school program, runs that. They do all kinds of arts and crafts and educational projects, so
Start
want to reach out,
collaborating
yeah,
on a
talk to
theme.
him and you can start, planning some.
Now, do we have any idea of what kind of tree we're going to plant there?
We have not talked about that, I don't know if they have a preference, but it's a great location for a big shade
For a
tree.
big tree.
Shade tree.
Okay.
It would be, I think, they do outdoor programming, but they've got the space that can.
So I'll
handle
reach
that.
out between now and the next meeting and then report
Yeah.
back.
Yeah,
That's
if
fine.
you want to invite him to our next meeting, if he's available, that would be great. Speaking of which, our next meeting would be December 13th. So I know that's kind of in the midst of holiday season. I just want to make sure that you all will be available for that meeting date.
Who's bringing cookies? I'm only coming if there's cookies.
Bring some Christmas cookies, okay?
No, I'm available, I'm just joking.
Okay.
We can bring.
So if he is available, I mean, if he is available, he's more than welcome to come. I think it
Yes.
would be great to start, that conversation.
Excellent. I'll reach out this week.
Good. tree ordinance and updating, we need to, I think, we're swamped in our office, but we want to start looking at the city's tree ordinance and getting something together. And there are a couple of people that want to maybe sit down and look at that and work on that and come back to the full commission with some suggestions. I know we had thrown out, a way to address all of the trees, take all of the trees out of the ordinance proper and just make a blanket statement that the tree commission would look at that at a minimum annually to determine whether or not it's still realistic, but it wouldn't stop you from looking at the list. If something came up mid-year, it wouldn't stop you from looking at that list and adjusting it more periodically.
I like the idea of not having to be so government-based.
Right. And I think there are sections maybe like we dealt with today, where there's a tree on private property, we need to clarify procedurally what that would be. We talked a little bit today about the fine section. It's a $250 maximum fine. Is that enough to deter people from not cutting down a 100-year-old tree? I don't know. I don't think so.
Especially based on the
And
fall,
you
cut it
can't.
down.
So,
When was the last time we updated?
the last time, well, it's been sporadically updated, to adjust the makeup of the tree commission. I don't think it's been updated.
I don't think since I've worked here, but I think we started, back when we first talked about this, I think I have a red line version somewhere where we started to make changes to it. Just looking.
Okay, would you be interested in working on that, Evan, or? Okay, so does somebody want to work with Evan to try and look at the existing ordinance? If you can find another version that might have been redlined?
In the last 10 years, you've had interns starting on it. And then also the same.
Well, we had the sidewalk, the sidewalk code, which brought in this, that was an intern project, right?
That was separate. There was another one where interns are coming.
The tree.
Yeah, they never really got started.
Oh, the BARD
Yeah,
interns?
yeah.
Yeah, they didn't get to this.
I know it's like elements on the tree ordinance, not the sidewalk.
Okay.
Now, the tree ordinance, is that tied in somehow to the zoning? codes?
No, that is a separate and distinct portion of the city code.
So the tree ordinance is the same as the tree code,
Yeah,
essentially.
yeah. Vince, would you want to work with Evan on that?
Sure.
Okay,
I'll work with them.
okay, so Vince, Tabby, and Evan. Okay. And Kyla can look for her old red line version.
Yeah, and if George already had some comments, I'd be
Yeah.
good to see that.
And we can send it.
Well, if you or Kyla could find it, would be helpful,
Yeah.
if it's still current.
And then we worked on the tree list,
Yeah.
which is on the
Yes,
top, says,
Big trees.
caveats that this list is not written in stone, that if certain things happen, it can be changed.
Right, but the idea for the ordinance is to take it out of the code, or to take the list out of the code altogether and just allow the commission, then the commission can make those adjustments as they see fit, at a meeting versus having to go through a process with the council.
Each time, except in which case you go with the top 4 lines. Drop the rest.
Right.
And I think Kyla sent us the code, and I still have it in my email kind of waiting with the connection, Google Docs or
Yeah, I was
something.
gonna say, I think we put it in so that everyone could make changes to it.
And I don't think
That
I
was
ever acted
years
on it,
ago.
but I kept it.
Well, good, if you
At
kept
least
it,
2 years
because I
ago.
have a lot.
Okay,
I can find, I can probably find it. I mean, the other, in fact, I saw it not too long ago as I was scrolling through my 100.
Okay, well, go scrolling again.
Hopefully the word program is inspired.
Sure it is.
And it seems like it's a trees to make some accommodations also that maybe can be part of the tree ordinance. Like the size of the.
Oh, Yeah, that's a good idea.
We had lots of notes that we took as part of the document of the tree list. I think at the beginning, I think this could be used also.
I know Cornell University put out a document that states what size tree site should. It's like 4 feet.
Yeah, I think that's what.
Is that true?
But that's also very hard, I realize that that's very hard.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But there are ways to kind of add things to it. That has to do with sidewalk code, and,
Yes.
3 feet and structural as well, or small, medium size tree, lot.
Should that kind of information be in the code or not in the code because it's too much detail, but in some sort of list with the trees?
Well, you can, if the sidewalk code exists, you can certainly make reference to the sidewalk code in the street and refer, I mean, there's always, crossover sections and references that are made. And that might be good.
We're doing the sidewalks on Franklin Street now,
The sidewalk code is about 3 pages on.
and they're only using stone dust, item 4. And I don't think they're considering tree plantings and what should be done at those tree sites.
They should be,
You mean with the
I-
they're not.
I went down there today.
Where is this again?
Franklin Street.
on Franklin
Down
Street.
Franklin Street, quite a bit, just to see
Okay.
what's going
And
on.
there's sadly a lot of problems with the laying of the sidewalks. Down, just between the corner of Fair and Wall Street on the south side of Franklin Street, there's a whole piece that was never laid correctly and it wobbles and the bluestone has broken and it still sets like that. And,
Is that stone that was reset?
all of
or
it was reset,
all new?
all of.
Because I know they were
corners,
putting it.
They have repurposed
Right,
all bluestone that's used between Clinton and Wall has been repurposed bluestone. And it appears as though it's not going to be passing the ADA compliance. So I don't know what they're gonna do in the end. It's not being done from what it was explained to be when the meetings first occurred.
I'll check with engineering on that. They haven't said anything to us.
You've seen it, but it's not,
Yeah.
it's not level.
Feel, yeah.
I went down there today,
Yeah.
but I think one of the issues is
Inside.
they're only using item 4 under the concrete. And that's up and down the street. And so I don't know where, I haven't seen the tree planting, but where they
There have been
selected.
no tree plantings at all.
But they did
Well,
plant.
the trees wouldn't go in until the end. I mean, they
Right, but, so they didn't accommodate, or they didn't plan for a tree planting in any particular spot along the street.
There's been no markings
No
and,
markings, no
and there was
structural
originally.
soil, or nothing.
Right.
In the pictures they sent us, there were.
When he was
trees.
there, it was originally before he resigned from his position, him and I were going to go by the engineers, whoever laid the plan for everything, the company out of Rensselaer. And they have spots in the plan of where they, worked with the gas lines, water lines, and where the trees would be planted. And we were going to go and talk to the homeowners or get in touch with the landlords that own the property. Because they're just going in the way originally, they were just gonna go and plant trees on people, the middle property. And it was discussed at one of the planning meetings, I brought up that, this becomes the homeowner's responsibility. They should be informed before we just plant trees. And I think it was 58 trees were going to be planted along. I want to say 58, might be a couple numbers on 56, trees that were going to be planted between Broadway and Wall Street. And we have never talked to any of these homeowners. There's one that's supposed to be planted in front of my house and nobody has talked to me. So as a homeowner of somebody that's on that list, even though I had offered to go door to door to those homes, nobody reached out to me once Frank left. And I've never been informed anything about whether I want a tree in front of my house.
Okay. Okay, I'll talk to your engineer tomorrow. Try and get some answers.
The other issue is, if they did plant a tree, would it be successful in the spot they picked for long term in general?
All they've done is put down straw and planted some grass. That's really, that's all I've
Pretty
seen.
much it's-
And I don't know how they did the cement down from Clinton to Broadway. I didn't get to see that, what was under it or anything when they laid it. I never got to see that.
So, item 4.
We also had the new zoning, and then we had representative come, from the public encouraging the commission members to look at that. I don't know if anybody has, Vince, you're gonna be looking at it with the planning board too, but, they are getting ready to release a third and final draft. So it is really imperative that this commission be looking at that, and if you want to submit any unified comments, we're gonna have to do that at the December meeting. So, I put the link, I think, on there on the, agenda. Always, it's very easy to get to, online, and look at the draft, but certainly it's a form-based code, so it's very, involved in terms of streetscape design. And this commission should be making some comments. One example I would, I've already made that comment internally as staff, but there's a section in there where stoops are being brought out into the public right of way. And I've told them that that should not be there. Where there's area in a public right of way, can still allow for passage, that should be green space. That should be a tree being planted, not a stoop entering a public right of way. That becomes a liability for the public and for the city. So that was one, there's things like that in there where I think this commission could be supportive of encouraging more streetscape greenery and trees in particular. Rain gardens are great, they're maintenance nightmares, and unless you have a property owner that's willing to take, take that on a rain garden, it's more difficult. Where a tree is, I think, less maintenance for a property owner to just kind of keep track.
Less maintenance, why it's actually more stormwater absorption in the rain garden does. Trees generally provide 60 to 70% of what's in the rain. So it's also biologically back there.
So take a look at it and really focus in on some of the sections that involve the streetscape design, landscaping. I don't have anything else unless anybody else does.
Yes, I just want to know if I can get some of the application for the trees.
Sure. It's downstairs.
Yeah, because tomorrow, I think, on Thursday, on Broadway and Prince site, we are doing a workshop about soil
Okay.
and soil testing, how to do soil testing, how to know what your soil has.
Right, for anybody who doesn't know, Green Firm was chosen to do the design for the intersection down here, where Prince and Grand and Broadway and, Pine Grove come out. So her firm is in charge of doing that, design for that, so,
Road be in space.
I'm sorry?
It could be really a nice space.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
That's great.
so, they're holding workshops for the public to become involved, so I don't know if we wanna reach out, or, Karine, do you wanna say anything about it?
Yeah, I mean, like, I welcome like all your ideas also, like, you know, sharing like feedback about what you think the space would be like. That would be very happy to hear. The survey we have finished like last night, but I'm very happy to talk to you, can send me an email, and talk to me about how you change the space. And we will do like meetings about presenting like conceptual design and hearing feedback. So we have like 3 sessions where we're going to go back and forth until we are all in agreement about what we want there. So yeah, we are very much into hearing, you know, what people want to build and having the design.
And the workshop's gonna be held in there.
Yeah, it's going to be on site on Thursday from 2 to 4. And it's going to be like learning how to do soil testing, and we will also get the result on the soil testing of the site, to know what's there, and how to amend it. So in 2 weeks, we're going to do like soil building and how to figure out soil. And invite all the community to participate. And we're working also with some musical. We are learning about how to design, and they're producing also their own design on the site. That's going to influence, you know, like the final design.
Hopefully some of the high school kids stop, 'cause that's right when dismissal happens and a lot walk through there, so I might get some of their attention to come over, that'd be great.
Yeah, we did like actually a session especially for them, when we had like some donuts, and we invited all the high school students to stop by and do the survey to tell us what they wanted to see. So we had like many students who actually participated in the vision of the site, which was amazing.
They love getting an opportunity to have a
Yeah.
voice, that's amazing, great job.
Absolutely, and also like because, you know, like transportation with a bicycle, how we wanted, you know, also to access the site, and also parking, we're talking about parking at the high school and on the issues, it was great. You know, left from them on the net, also on the site space for them to get there after school. And we wanted to have a space to go together, you know, so all this is like.
A lot of the kids do stop there
Yeah.
and hang out after school.
Yeah, exactly, and so it's like how you create a space that's open for them as well. So, that's-
Good, thank you. Anything else from anybody?
Well, I just noticed on Post Street, this happened a few weeks ago when I wasn't really on top of it. Somebody was cutting trees down the street from us. They were trimming the trees. They didn't take any down, but they were trimming because they were putting up this wall. Work on Lower Post Street. I don't know. if they-
Okay,
Yeah,
Permission or
on the, across the street from yours.
across the street from
Yeah,
us, there's
yeah.
quite a bit of tree trimming.
Yes,
Right,
they.
The trees are kind of up on a hill and they probably needed to be trimmed, but
well, there was a lot of scrub in there, they're rebuilding a retaining wall there
yes.
along the
Yes.
street, so yeah,
Huge retaining.
yeah. There's, yeah. That's weird, the window was open.
Yeah, I don't know how long it's been open.
I know, I
It's just funny how the sound changed from.
Yeah.
It's amazing, just think that we're gonna have ants or something.
Okay, so if there's nothing else, I'll call for a motion to adjourn, it's 6:02.
Make the motion to adjourn.
Okay, Amanda made the motion, is there a second?
Second.
So, Evan beat you to it, sorry. Okay, all in favor? Okay, we're adjourned, it's 6:02. Thank you, everybody.
So this,